If you've been around any type of Souls-like content the past few years, you might have heard of a little game released in 2022 called Elden Ring. Now, the most popular game FromSoft has ever released by quite a large margin, its open world, intricate lore of the story has captured the awe and hearts of many. It even spawned its own DLC last year, Shadow of the Erdtree, which, for all intents and purposes, honestly could have been its own game with all the intricacies, mechanics, and story that comes along with it. Though that begs the question, what comes next for the developers of one of the most successful gaming franchises of all time? With Miyazaki and other development heads in discussions with Nintendo about Dustbloods, what is there to do about Elden Ring? Is there even more to be done? Do they even want to do more with Elden Ring? Well, seemingly out of left field, in December of 2024, something different was announced.
Seekers of redemption, thrown together by forces beyond their control. Band together and prepare to claim. The life of the Nightlord.
Can't talk about what Nightreign is without talking about what Elden Ring is, seeing as it's set in the same environments to a certain extent. While it is still primarily Elden Ring, with the enemies, bosses, items, and more, that doesn't exclude the other entries in the Souls series. Many things have been brought over from various games in the FromSoft library through the years. In Dark Souls 1, you have Gaping Dragon and Centipede Demon. In Dark Souls 2, you have Smelter Demon and Duke's Dear Freya. And 3, you have Dancer and Nameless King. That being said, I've alluded to things the game has, but I haven't really described what the game is. Nightrain is a roguelike. Roguelite? Similar in vein to games like Hades, Slay the Spire, Balatro, etc. But contrary to those games, and as of the time of recording, Nightrain doesn't have much in the way of constant progression. At the end of the run, successful or not, you get various types of relics you can use to upgrade your character. You're currently limited to 3 relics at a time, and each character has a certain configuration of relic colors, but you can unlock certain configurations as you play the game. However, I don't count the shitty relics as a form of progression when the extreme majority of them are dog cheeks. 5% throwing pot damage? Increased throwing dagger damage? Get the fuck. There absolutely should be a way to start with a certain weapon or talisman or something after a certain amount of time. Maybe after getting a certain weapon 10 times, you get the ability to use it on your character, or maybe only on one specific character, seeing as how they all have vastly different movesets, stat distribution, scaling, abilities, etc. And while we're on the topic of the characters, Nightrain has 8 new playable characters, almost none of which are named, but all have their own special abilities, ultimates, strengths, and weaknesses. Though I'd be interested to hear if the developers consider each Nightfare and their abilities as part of the major roguelike formula. It's an interesting development decision, and I'm interested to see how things are improved going forward. Different classes appeal to different people. You have the support class in Guardian, the big bonk strength class in Raider, the all-arounder in John Nightrain called Wilder, the speedy dex user in Duchess, the intelligence user in Recluse, the faith and incant user in Summoner in Revenant, the bow user in Iron Eye, and finally, for those who like parrying, straight out of Sekiro himself, Executor. Executor? No. Executor. No. Dude with the sword. No, not that one. No, wrong sword. That's just a twink. There we go. Obviously, with 8 different starting classes, some are going to be more balanced than others, simply by way of how the weapon classes operate. Heavy weapons are going to be better at poise damage, but attack slowly. Wilder is going to be the best all around, but he's a master of none, jack of all trades type thing. Still preferring a sword over most things, but and if I had to place a bet on the best class in the game, Iron Eye is my bet. The ability to constantly apply pressure and damage from a range while enemies can hardly do much to you, and even when they do get close enough, you can just zip behind them while increasing the damage that you do is incredibly good. And almost broken enough to be nerf worthy, but who knows what other balance patches will come from the Nightfarers. Nightrain is not for everybody. For those that were expecting Elden Ring 2, you'll definitely be disappointed, especially so soon after the first game came out, and even since the team made a DLC from near scratch, given how well the game sold. Even if you do play this game solo, the game is very hard. If you don't have a significant understanding of the Elden Ring formula and game mechanics, though slightly altered because of no torrent, etc., going into this game thinking it'll be more of the same will be fine, I guess. But there's still lots of fresh ideas that'll give you a hard time about it. Altered bosses, buffs on items that you wouldn't expect, etc. Now, it'll still take a few runs to get used to everything, but once you do, Personally, I find it quite enjoyable, even though the rewards can be a bit lacking at times. The rewards aren't the only end goal, though. Each individual character has their own story to progress through, if you so choose to go on the journey to understand why they're there, trying to kill the Night Lord, etc. Without spoiling it, Remnant's story is, well, it's a gruesome tale, to say the least, but it's definitely worth pursuing if nothing else interests you. Some, Nightreign is trying too hard to be Elden Ring. The others, it's a cheap cash grab just tied to the Elden Ring name. There's still, it's a different twist on the Elden Ring formula that everyone should be used to at this point. No matter who you are or what camp you fall into, I simply ask, where are we dropping?